Today, I'm at Yates Cemetery in Douglas County, Missouri, sharing the story of Mary Ann or Polly Burden Brown. From Tennessee beginnings to homesteading by a cave, Polly's life was filled with faith, hardship, and resilience. As I clean her stone, I want to tell the story of the family she helped build and the legacy that still remains here today. Mary Ann or Polly Burden was born around 1828 in Tennessee. She was the fifth of 9 children born to John and Mary Madison Burden. When Polly was born, her father was 32 and her mother just 23. Her mother had started young, giving birth to twin boys at only 15 years old, and continued having children nearly every year after. In the 1830s, the Burden family left Tennessee and settled in what is now the Yates Cemetery area. According to their headstone, Polly's parents and several of their children are buried there in unmarked graves. It's believed they were among the very first laid to rest in that cemetery and are ancestors to many of the families buried there today. Polly's roots run deep in this ground. In 1846, when Polly was 18 years old, she married Reverend Thomas Brown, who was 32. Thomas had already experienced much heartache before meeting Polly. His life had begun in Indiana, where he married his first wife, Sarah Floyd. They had 2 children, a daughter who died in infancy and a son named John. Sarah passed away just a few years later. Thomas married again, this time to Margaret Davis. On Christmas Day in 1844, Margaret gave birth to twin girls, Julia Ann and Margaret Emily. The babies survived, but Margaret did not. She died that very day. Before her death, Margaret's parents had moved to Ozarks County, Missouri, homesteading along Fox Creek. In early 1845, Thomas packed up his newborn twins and made the long journey to Missouri. A family member once shared that he carried the babies in a large black kettle during the trip, an early version of a car seat. That same kettle is said to be in the possession of a Brown family descendant today, a remarkable piece of history. As Thomas traveled through Missouri following Bryant Creek, he came upon a cave. He camped at its mouth while building his home and blacksmith shop with the help of neighbors. He became the first blacksmith in the area and also served as a Methodist minister. After settling in, his twin daughters went to live with their maternal grandmother, Catherine Davis. Thomas began holding church services in the very cave where he had once camped. Locals began calling him Parson Brown, and the cave became known as Brown's Cave. It was there in this new life that he had carved out of the wilderness that he met Polly. Together, Thomas and Polly built a large family of their own. They had at least 9 children, 6 sons and 3 daughters. Isaac, Sarah, Patrick, Francis, William, Phila, Thomas, Edward, and James. Polly had her children from the age of 21 until she was 44. Not all of their children lived long lives. Their daughter Sarah's story echoed a painful pattern in the family. Sarah married a man also named Thomas, an odd coincidence, and at 19 years old, she died giving birth to twins, just as Thomas's second wife, Margaret, had years before. The twins did not survive. Sarah's headstone reads, "Our dear sister sleeps sweetly here with a baby in each arm." Their son, Francis Marion Brown, later passed away at 43 from what the newspaper described as stomach trouble. Both are buried in the same cemetery as their parents. In 1864, during the Civil War, Thomas enlisted in the infantry volunteers for the Union. He was 48 at the time, but reportedly claimed to be 10 years younger when he signed up. He served in Company H of the 46th Regiment. By then, the twin daughters had returned home, leaving Polly to manage the farm and care for 7 children while Thomas was away. He was honorably discharged in 1865 and returned to Douglas County to resume his work as a blacksmith. Thomas's health declined in his later years. In 1892, he was injured when his horse threw him, breaking several ribs. After that accident, his strength never fully returned. By 1894, newspapers reported that he had been confined indoors all winter with neuralgia and an old ankle sore. He passed away in 1896 at the age of 82. He was buried in Yates Cemetery alongside his children. This cemetery rests near the same river where Thomas and Polly built their lives, not far from Brown's cave, where he once preached. Even long after his passing, families continued gathering there for community picnics. After Thomas's death, Polly continued living independently. By the 1900 census, she was around 68 years old, living alone, and listing her occupation as farming. She passed away on April 30th, 1901, at about 72 or 73 years old. She was laid to rest beside Thomas and several of their children in Yates Cemetery. Through my family research, I found that Polly is related to my husband. She is his fourth cousin, 6 times removed. Polly lived a long life shaped by love, loss, and hard work. She rests beside her husband and children near the river where they built their home so many years ago. Thank you for being here and for helping preserve these stones and the stories they hold. Rest in peace, Polly.